All right, good morning, everybody. Always great to see y'all, but especially on this Tuesday. Because if I'm seeing y'all on this Tuesday, that means we're in the championship game. So, not sure how many of y'all had this on your calendar for today. Y'all might have had vacation plans. Maybe you were going golfing today or whatever you're going to do, but I'm glad y'all are here. Excited, man. Excited to be in the ACC Championship game again. And it's a great venue. I'm excited for our players, and I'm proud of our team. You know, we did not accomplish all of our regular season goals, but we did enough to be one of two teams out of 17 to earn the opportunity and to qualify for our championship. So really proud of that. SMU is 8-0, and we're 7-1. And so top two teams. And I'm also proud of our consistency, uncommon consistency. This is our 10th time in this game in 16 years. I know we're supposedly a bad program now, and we're doom and gloom, David. It's all downhill. Everything's terrible. But I think we've been in this game 2 out of the last 3 years. This is our 8th time in 10 years. And I don't think we've gone back-to-back years not being in this game since 13 and 14. So, I know for all the things that have to change and how we're supposed to be like everybody else, I'd say that's pretty good. 8 times in 10 years. And so really proud of that consistency. And we got 2 goals left, and that's to win the ACC and to win the closer. And if we hit them 2 goals, hey, we'll be national champs. And that's a fact. So these kids have worked their butt off. The staff has worked their tails off. Again, certainly didn't accomplish all of our regular season goals, but it's all about the postseason. That's what it's about, and that's what college football is about and is going to become about as we move forward. So really happy to have the opportunity to go compete. And, congratulations to Rhett and SMU. We actually both have the same agent, so I know him a little bit, and certainly have competed against him a couple of times and have followed him for a long time since he was down there at Auburn as well. It's probably the first time really got to know him a little bit, but both teams have earned this opportunity to compete for the ACC title, and so it's a blessing to be in it, and honestly, it's a blessing to be able to be a part of something that very few coaches, very few players get to experience, and that is a championship game. Very few people get a chance to experience that. So it's there's 8 Power 4 teams that are playing this weekend, and it's exciting. It's what you work all year for, is to try to be in your championship. And again, you're talking, these aren't 7 and 8 team leagues anymore. I mean, it's a 17 team league. So I'm really proud of our guys for putting themselves in this position, and again, a blessing to be a part of it as we get going. And then, SMU, I mean, they are what you perceive. When you just track them from afar. I've had some crossover opportunity throughout the year to study them a little bit. But man, offensively, they are, 5th in the nation in scoring. They are explosive. They are fast. They play with a lot of precision. This is an old football team. If you look at their team, they're all graduates and seniors. Very, very old team that's played a lot of football. Outside of the quarterback, he's a young player, but they went to him early in the season, and he's been a game changer for them. He's super dynamic. Their running back number 1 was the kid. Those of you that remember our game against Miami last year, he was the kid that went to the house that Nate stripped in the end zone, but they recovered. So he went 80 yards. So this is a very explosive. After we fumbled on the 1, it's a very, very explosive, football player. And they use him. They don't just line him up outside. They use him as a receiver too. They throw it to him in the slot. They throw it to him in the screen game. They swing it to him. And then this quarterback is just a really dynamic player. I mean, he's creative, and he's dangerous, running and throwing. And so big challenge for us there. They're a tempo team. So something we've got to really do a good job of there. And then just, a very, very complete group of receivers. They got 4 or 5 receivers that, can really, really play. I mean, they can all run. Again, they're all, seniors and have a ton of experience. So they're savvy guys as far as knowing how to play within their scheme and their route tree, really precise in what they do. And tight end's a good player, so offensive line, same thing. They're all graduates. I think they got one young player that's a sophomore. They're right tackle there, but, good group top to bottom, balanced, explosive, challenge you in every way, because, again, they've got a dynamic quarterback, really good skill outside, good offensive line, and an elite playmaker at running back. So that's why they're 8-0 in the league and top 10 team. They've done a really nice job. And then over on the other side, defensively, really, really stout. Very similar to the group we just played last week, but bigger. They're big ends. The one end, I don't know, he's 290 or so, 5, but they play about 6 or 7 guys in the front. Again, savvy on the back end, really good guys. I mean, same thing. These are all 3rd and 5th year players that have most of them have been there for at least a year and have done a nice job for them. So really, really good group. They've had a ton of sacks. I think they've had 37 sacks on the season. So another challenge for us there. And they've not given up a ton of points. So I think they're 20th in the country in scoring defense, and or 19th in the country in scoring defense. So another, complete team, dynamic returner. And 1-13, they'll put those guys back there. And so very explosive players, on both sides of the ball, and a well-coached team. But, look forward to competing against them and playing for a championship. Should be again, a great night, great venue, and hope that we'll have. I'm sure we'll have an awesome crowd to support these guys, and again to to be in this thing again for the 8th time in the past 10 years. That's a blessing, and so we just look forward to competing and trying to do the very best we can to win it.
I'm glad you mentioned that about the older team. That was one of the questions I was going to ask. Do they remind you of kind of like a college basketball mid-major that makes the tournament because they've got all seniors and they're able to make a run because they do have all those older players that have played so much ball?
No, I just think they're a good football team. I wouldn't call them a mid-major at all. I think they're a Power 4 team that can play with anybody in the country. I don't see them as a mid-major, and I just
I'm not comparing them to a mid-major.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but like those older teams that just
I just think they got good players, whether they're seniors or graduates. They got good quarterbacks, a sophomore. We won the national championship with a freshman. We've started freshmen in the offensive line in national championship games. It's about, the players, but I do think that they've been together and they are a very experienced group. So that certainly has not hurt them. I mean, they got a lot of guys that have played a lot of football. So when you have that, you would expect to have a good year if you can put it together. And that's where I think they've done a nice job. They made a change at quarterback. I think that was probably the game changer for them. I mean, this kid is he's a young player, but he's been the difference for them. So just a good football team, well coached, and these guys are they can play with anybody for sure.
Yeah, but you have a lot of guys who were on this team in 22, the last time you were there, and won. Does that give you any kind of an edge going this
No,
week?
it's all. I mean, it's nice to have. I mean, it was just 2 years ago. Like I said, we've only not been in this game 1 year, but I mean, they at least have been in it. But Cade was the MVP of the game. I mean, Cole had a good game. I mean, it doesn't matter. You got to. It's all about how you play on the day you play. That's what it's about. So nothing more than that.
What was it like to see a DeMonte come back and play in kind of give some insight in his recovery.
Yeah, it's
to get
good.
to that
It's,
point.
you know, he's not 100%, but it's good to get him back. You know, happy for him to at least, you know, get back in motion. But he's not. He's just still working his way back.
You anticipate Mickens will be available?
Hope so. You know, we'll see. Hope so.
That with, as well with Shelton Lewis, he's making his returns that soon
Yep.
with Cape Hearts.
He's
Just
back.
making-
Shelton's back, and so he's actually looks healthiest that he's been since before he got hurt in camp. So it's been good to see that because he's been hurt all year really. So I think he's moving with some confidence. That's been good to see.
Their rush defense is 2.8 yards per rush in conference, and under 100 yards a game. What does that defensive linebacker? What do they do so well?
Big, hold the point. They use their hands well. They play a ton of man coverage and make you hold the ball a little bit. But biggest thing is they play with their hands well, play good technique. They're big, strong, physical dudes that are hard to move. So that's the main thing with them. Backers are good players. It's just well coordinated, and they fit it up well, and they tackle well. It's a good tackling group. But yeah, they're I guess giving up less than 100. They're fourth in the country in rush defense. So it's big old strong dudes. I mean, again, their ends 290, almost 300 pounds. So big guys.
Dabo, can you take us through the emotions of Saturday and losing to South Carolina and then getting to watch the end of that Syracuse-Miami game and where things go from there?
I mean, incredible disappointment. Obviously, we in position to win the game, and it was a great game, championship game, and it comes down to one play. And they made two great plays, and we needed one more great play, and we're in position to tie it certainly or win the game, and we had a mistake and plenty of opportunities in the game to win it, and we just didn't get it done. But it was a great game. It was a great college football game, a great matchup. Both teams played incredibly hard, very physical game, and just disappointing when you certainly don't win that game. That's a goal of its own. But yeah, because I mean you have to that's important to everybody in this state on both sides. So it hurts. It sucks. It's disappointing when you don't win that game. But yeah, then later on that night, you find out you're in the championship game. So it's pretty cool, and we earned it. We went 7. Everybody, you got to play your games. It's not our fault. Our conference schedule ended 2 weeks ago. I mean, everybody, we play. We had 2 non-conference to finish the season, but yeah, it was awesome. Went from just mad and disappointment like we all are. That's what we do, man. We invested incredibly. You think, I know people get disappointed when we don't win a game, but you think how these players feel and how these coaches feel. This is our life, and so it was down. But then all of a sudden, boom, phone starts blowing up. You could almost just like feel the wind at our back with the messages from the players, because that was a hurting locker room, and it should. When you put your heart into something, it's painful when it doesn't go your way, and so man, that was pretty cool. It was a range of emotions for sure, but that's why you play the games, and you count them all up at the end of the year, and at the end of the day, it's all about qualifying for the postseason. That's what college football is now. I mean, it's what everybody wanted. That's what we got. And so, I don't know, what was it, a few years ago? I think the Chiefs made the wild card. They didn't have a very good year, and then I think they went on and won the Super Bowl. Nobody, when they were holding that Super Bowl trophy up at the end of the year, they didn't go, "Oh yeah, but you lost that game, and you lost that game," and it's just about getting to the postseason. And that's really what it's about. I mean, and it's just going to get more and more that way, because it's not going to stay at 12. And there's going to be a lot of 3-loss teams in the playoffs in the years to come, and there will be a 3-loss team win the national championship. That'll happen, And so it just is what it is, and you can only play the games you got. We played 11 Power 4 conference games, and we had a lot of good moments. We had a good season. And, we lost to a really good Georgia team in a tight game until the third quarter. We had a couple plays that got away. We had a bad day against Louisville, and they're a good football team. They're 8-4 and probably 3 plays from being 10-2. They're a really good team. And then we lost to a really good South Carolina team that dominated Texas A&M. A lot of people said Texas A&M was the best team in the league, right? They dominated Texas A&M. They scored 1 million points on LSU, on Oklahoma. They scored a bunch in Tuscaloosa. I mean, they beat Missouri. They dominated a tough Kentucky team. I mean, they won. This was the second fewest points they scored all year. It was a very tough game. So it just goes to show, there's a lot of propaganda that gets, people are paid a lot of money to push all that stuff, and that's what you get. But it's college football, man. It's a very, very pretty level playing field out there on any given day. And it's we again range of emotions, but to be in our championship game and what we've earned and an opportunity. Now you control your destiny. Man, let's spot the ball and let's go see. It doesn't matter. Everybody's 0-0. Whether you're 9-3 or you're 12-0, you don't get to have a touchdown on the board when you show up in Charlotte. Everybody's 0-0. Nothing matters. Nothing matters. And no different than the NBA playoffs. You make the tournament, it don't matter. Anybody can win it. And so, we're just thankful to have a shot. Now, certainly we got to win to have a shot. I mean, we have to win because that's kind of what we've earned to this point. We've earned the opportunity, but you got to go win the game. And I think SMU should be in no matter what. I think they have had a great year, and they got a heck of a team, and so it's fun. It's fun. It was a fun Sunday yesterday or 2 days ago to be able to come in and start preparing, for an opponent. Because, when I walked into the press conference the other night, I think it was 21-0. And I didn't look at my phone again until it was 35-28. So, but that's college football. That's college football. So excited to be in it.
Before the Miami-Syracuse game, how much as a coaching staff did you guys talk about the possibility to have a contingency plan ready to go to prepare?
Yeah, we since we knew that SMU was in the game, we went ahead and did our normal breakdown. So if it did go our way, we wouldn't be starting from scratch. So when we always come in on Sundays, our support staff's always a week ahead, and they always have everything broken down. With the exception of the game that team we're getting ready to play is playing in that same time. So they add that on Sunday. But we always have our breakdown ready to go. So we went ahead and did that just like as if we were playing in it. So we weren't starting from scratch. But us coaches, we're always starting on Sunday. But our support staff's always a week ahead, and that helps us with our process of getting going on Sunday each and every week.
Is Tyler Brown, has he got back?
Yeah, he's back. He's back. I mean, we just ran around a little last night, so Tuesday, Wednesdays are really more where you get a real true evaluation of guys. Everybody looks good. I'd look good out there on Monday night. It's the first time you've had them, and they're not. It's not long practices, and you're in best. So it's some teams practice on Sunday and they even do less, but we actually have a pretty good work. We get a good head start on the opponent, but it's not a intense practice on Monday nights. You really just kind of get your team back going and introducing them to the opponent. But today and tomorrow's tough days, so I'll get a little better gauge. But he looks good, on the hoof.
Any questions for Coach virtually? Anybody else in the room?
Coach, building off the emotional roller coaster, what do you tell Cade when you have the MVP of this game a couple years ago, and then the Gamecocks' last play, and now trying to get him back up? What are those conversations like between you and him?
I mean, he's fine. I mean, he was excited to have an opportunity to go play this week. I mean, that's just football. You're gonna have some bad plays. I don't care who you are. Michael Jordan. I mean, he made a lot of game winners, but if you hear him, he'll talk about all the game winners he missed, right? You just keep taking the shot, man. You just keep battling. Cade had 2 game-winning drives in a row. The Kentucky game, the Pitt game, and he was on his way to 3, and he just had a bad play. Just had a bad play, bad decision, and he knows that. He'll learn from that. But some people focus on that, but he's made a lot of great ones. I know this. He's had a heck of a year, and he'll file that away and keep getting better. But him being the MVP in this game, honestly, that has nothing to do with Saturday. I mean, you don't carry any of that stuff over. You got to go prove it. Every time you step on the field, you got to go prove it and do what it takes for that game, that moment. But he's certainly a better player than he was, when we put him in the game that night. There's no doubt about it. He is a much, much, much better quarterback than he was then.
Does SMU